Welcome back, everybody, to the Friday Night Fallacy podcast, the only podcast where we shove things up our noses for your entertainment. My name is Fluiv. These guys know me as Sluss. Who the hell are you people?
What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Purple Turtle 991, and we're here again for another night of fun.
Hello, everybody. It's your boy, Ron Pablo, coming back at you, not from the Xbox, but from my dorm room.
Woohoo! So what do we got prepared for us tonight, boys?
So,
I know
ladies,
we've got a couple things noted down here.
Ladies, I gotta tell you about the time I considered joining a pyramid scheme.
What?
So, have you ever heard of Amway?
No, I've never heard of Amway.
You're better off that way. So, Amway is this lovely thing where people... It's been around for a long time, and I don't understand what it does. I think it distributes products to other people and have them sell them. Those people pay for those products. They're going to make money regardless of what happens.
Oh, so is this like drop shipping?
I don't
Have you seen those things? Like people on Instagram would post about how they make like a ton of money drop shipping video games or something?
No.
It's basically like running a GameStop out of the back of your car. It's really sketchy.
It's good.
That's great.
So, regardless, this one guy messages me. He's like, yo, my friend Anthony, or whatever his name was, said I could message you. I was like, oh, okay. Who are you? So I go and I message my friend. I'm like, do you know this person? And he's like, yeah, I buy products from his business, but I'm not a part of it. It's like, okay. And he set up a phone call with me, and he talks to me, and he's like, yeah, this is a really cool thing. You'll have a mentor. It's a business opportunity. You'll be an entrepreneur. I was like, you know what? Cool. That doesn't sound too bad. Give me the opportunity to meet new people, see new things, try something. And I want to open a restaurant at some point. So I was like, fuck it. That's business experience. And then...
That's how they get you.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, go watch this conference. So I was like, okay. I go and watch it. They make it seem like it's a really good thing. I'm like, understandable. Still sketchy. Then he has me meet with some other guy, and he's like, yeah, go do this, go read this stuff, look up the stuff, go download this app, read through it, put all your information in there, of course. And, yeah, we'll have a meeting this same time next week. I was like, okay. So I start reading up on the stuff, and one day at work, I'm like on break, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go and look some of this stuff up. So I go and look it up, and I'm like, first thing that pops up, Amway Pyramid Scheme. And I'm like, yep, I expected that. But I continued reading. Basically, there's a cult following, and they encourage you to leave all of your friends that aren't Amway people.
So this isn't just a money-making pyramid scheme to trickle up, like, what is it? Trickle up. Fuck, I can't speak. Trickle up economics is the philosophy of these kinds of schemes. So they're doubling down on the fact that it is like a way of life, like
pretty much, yeah.
So you live like a fucking nun, is what you're telling me.
This is like a heroin kind of pyramid scheme. Like, it just fucks you in every which way.
So you haven't even told us what these people sell yet. What are they trying to get you to sell in this Amway thing? Because usually it's something like stupid. Like I've seen like people that sell like candles or Longaburger baskets. You know, those are some of the bigger ones. No. Then there's like startups that people start from like their dorm room.
It's not stuff like that. It's actually stuff you use. And I got a free sample of a product, and it was actually really good. It was an energy drink. Now, granted, when you look at it, it's like, oh, this looks like something you get from the fucking dollar store. Because it looks cheap as all hell.
Was it FDA approved?
I don't know. I think so.
Sure.
I didn't look that hard into it. When I was working over the summer, I would chug 3 to 4 Red Bulls a day. So, do you really think I care what's in my system?
That's fair enough. You do buy vape juice.
Yeah.
Gotta love that nicotine. It's a sweet
It's a good fucking thing, isn't it?
We don't know what they're putting in that shit.
But they sell stuff like deodorant, soap, toothbrushes, energy drinks, workout products, protein, pre-workout, stuff like that. I didn't look too much into it because after I found out it was a pyramid scheme, I was like, nope, I'm getting away from this as soon as I freaking can.
But you were intrigued.
I was one of those dumbasses who was like, ooh, money, good idea, opportunity. And then I was like, at least I was smart enough to look it up and be like, oh, wow, this is a very bad idea.
Until you realize getting a job is a better idea.
Well, I do have a job, and I was working at the time. As I said, I was on break looking this up, and I'm like, oh, no.
Now, I do gotta ask, did you hear any talks about people doing dick dingers in the bathroom?
Was that a part of the culture? Because that might sway me to
I feel like that's part
of
the cult following there, honestly. Like, that's the kind of cult following that you don't want to get into, but it's a very luxurious lifestyle.
I'm going to be honest here, ladies. If they told me that they did dick dingers in the bathrooms on Saturdays, I'd be all in.
Is dick dingers the only joke that we have?
So far, yeah, unfortunately. And I'm going to make it a recurring thing. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about dick dingers.
Don't get me wrong, it is a very good joke.
But we need something else.
But at the same time, we might need to spice it up a little bit every once in a while. It's a very good joke, and we'll milk it for everything it's got. But goddamn.
Yeah. So now, wait, actually, I don't know if like this is going to interrupt our like podcast or anything, but like, are we allowed to talk about Amway? Like, are we allowed to explicitly name the company? Are we going to get yelled at?
I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Only time shall tell, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. At the end of the day, I mean, I talked very highly about them possibly doing dick dingers in the bathroom, so they should be proud of that. If anything,
I can look into it.
I think I just promoted them.
We're leaving this all in. If not, who cares?
We'll probably still leave it all in.
No.
Exactly.
Ron.
Yo.
Didn't you join a pyramid scheme?
I don't know.
The plot thickens?
I kind of got into some shit, and like, all right, this was a very stressful time. This was second semester of my freshman year, I think. And
well, that explained a lot. I wasn't there to tell you not to do dumb shit.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't tell anybody about it. You almost did
dumb shit. What are you talking about?
I didn't pay money to be a part of it. He got that far.
This was really bad. So like, mine was kind of different. Mine was basically like you talk to people that you make phone calls to like people and you just read off this scripted piece of paper, and they were like, all right, you just say that, and all you need to do is set up a meeting with them. And I was like, all right. And then I actually like went so far and like was calling people that I know. And I knew several people that were just like, there were several people that like, I still remember like hearing them to this day that like, they sounded very like unhappy, and they were like, no, we're not getting involved with that. And I actually kind of felt like I lost some respect from some people that day.
Holy
but
shit.
Like, I had no fucking clue, right? And so they were like, all right, so all you need to do is just pay the startup fee, and then, we'll start going on meetings and stuff like that, and you can make your money back by meeting with clientele and recruiting people. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait a second, startup fund, fuck. But I was like, no, this couldn't be it. And at the same time, I was in like 2 shitty classes that I wasn't doing a good job keeping track of, so I was stressed about that. My schedule was busy as shit, so I couldn't like really like manage what to do. I was having some other kind of problems at the time, so I was a fucking hot mess. And then like, I went in there and I talked to this girl that like was basically like kind of like my recruiter, and she was like, yeah, and then we just need like this information, and it was like a payment method, and I was like, I don't know,
maybe it's time to get out there, Chief.
Yeah. But then I was like, okay, maybe like I can like meet with somebody that I don't know and make this money back. And then I was like, maybe they won't take it out immediately. I fucking gave it to them. Soon as my ass was out that office door, I checked my bank account. That was the first year that I ever got a tax refund. I got like $125. I made a bunch of money from a paycheck. Every last dime went to that fucking company. And I was like, I fucking knew it. Like they like, at that point, that's when I realized that it was a scam. And I was like, well, I can't get that fucking money back now unless I keep going with them. But I didn't want to keep associating with them. And I didn't listen to anybody that was like, dude, don't fucking work with them. And so, like, you know, you learn the hard way sometimes. And that was pretty hard. And like I said, man, like I had money, and then like I had bills to pay, and I was like just scavenging money left and right trying to like pay for shit. It was a nightmare. And 19-year-old
suck that shit right
19-year-old Ron, man, that shit fucked 19-year-old Ron up. Yep, he was a fucking idiot. I wish I could go back there and slap him in the face a few times.
So when I get random calls on my phone, I get these almost daily when people are calling me about the factory warranty on my car.
I'm so tired of those.
I get those. I get people asking about my my cable, about my house. I don't have cable. I don't have a house. I tell them take me off their call list. Next thing I know, an Indian person is calling me about the same thing. I got a call last week. They go, hello, your Cash App. We have found a compromise in the Cash App. You must change it. And I say, yeah, sure. Do you want my email and password? Yes, sir. It'd be very helpful. Thank you for the Cash App, please. Okay. It's GOFUCKYOURSELF at don'tcallmeback.com. It took him a second to process that.
They have no common sense either. They're like, okay, I want to confirm that is go fuck yourself at don'tcallmeback.com. Do I have that right, sir? And then the password?
I just hung up at that point. I was trying hard not to laugh hysterically in this poor man's... I shouldn't even say poor man. In that man's face, that vile creature. Oy.
There was actually...
Usually what I do to telemarketers and scams like that is I will start off the call before I open it like vodka, 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 vodka. And then I talk like a Russian man.
You just
and I
act
tell
like
them
a mentally handicapped individual. What are they going to do? What if you... Oh, better idea. What if next time that happens, you talk with a horrible stutter?
Like, I talk in the Russian accent.
Vodka.
So just take up a lot of time, just barely being able to pronounce words. That could be hysterical.
I talk with the Russian accent. Tell them I live in commune and make my own butter.
Or you say, hello, my name is Yaroslav. I come from Eastern Bloc.
No, it is Giuseppe Krakowski.
Okay.
And then I tell them that I have free electricity. Hamsters. I did that one time and someone got very angry with me and she was like, how much do you pay the hamsters? And I'm just like, no, free electricity. They are our hamsters.
You trade them your firstborn daughter for 3 milking cows?
I've also had some people laugh and thank me for a good day.
That's, honestly, when you do that accent, you remind me of a professor that I had for math a few times. And I'm not allowed to disclose his name because privacy
very good problem.
Reasons. But that man, in the wintertime, would wear jeans, a polo, a light jacket, and fucking sandals.
Jesus, sandals.
20-degree weather, this man was wearing fucking sandals. No socks either. Like, just straight up sandals. And that's how you knew he was a fucking hard ass.
I mean, shit, man's came from Soviet Russia.
Yeah, speaking of professors at that campus that we all had, a specific individual comes to mind that we can all share lovely stories about. Now, I don't want to say his last name, okay? I'll give you his first name. His name was Professor Victor.
Oh.
All right? His last name was very African. I mean that. I mean that very literally. Like he came from Africa.
Oh, canceled.
No, I mean it's the truth. That's a fact. He was born in Africa,
right.
And he came over here to learn economics.
I mean, shit, man was smart.
Yeah, with the goal to eventually go back and fix his country's economy because it was in the shitter. So like. This man had aspirations. The only problem is we could barely understand him when he was teaching us.
Now, he also thought we all cheated.
He also thought we all cheated when he explicitly told us he wanted us to work together on the online quiz that he gave us. That's probably the best thing about this, is because we would, first of all, everyone would show up to class, right? We'd show up, we'd take our notes, we'd interact with this man, and he would tell us the darnest things, you know, like one of my favorite quotes was, "I go to TJ Maxx. I like TJ Maxx, but I do not go to buy. I go to experiment."
What did he look at? What did he look at when he went to TJ Maxx?
He watches.
He goes there to watch people purchase things.
He watches people purchase, and then he goes and looks at the fucking clearance rack all day and doesn't buy anything from it.
There was some other wild shit that he told us once. I forget what it was, though.
Oh, I got you covered.
Apart from that, we all cheated.
Dave, go.
So,
do it.
He looked at us one day, and he's like, "I do not love money. I like money. If I loved money, I would kill all of you and take your money." I'm sorry, I can't say it with a straight face.
No, and so, like, in a similar vein to him accusing the whole class of cheating, when he told us to work together on the quizzes that, mind you, were online, and he said, "I want you all to do well on these." So when we all do well, he's like, "You all cheated." Now, like I said, everyone was going to classes, everyone was showing up, taking notes, interacting with this man, having a wild time. Eventually, he told us, you know, "I don't make you come to class. You don't need to come to class, as long as you do well." So what do you think happened from that point forward? Almost everybody stopped showing up to class. We would take the online quizzes, do the online homework, and we took the online tests until he decided that, wait a second, no one is coming into this room and I'm talking to myself for 40 minutes about coffee and tea and supply and demand. So he, at least from that point forward, mandated that we come take the tests in person to prevent the cheating, the rampant cheating. And once again, he told us, "I want you to work together on these and do well." These were multiple choice tests and quizzes. So how can he even prove that we were cheating? It's not like one person wrote a paper and then everyone copied and pasted it in the class. So eventually we all show up to take the tests in person. And he looks at everyone sitting there. Most of us who knew each other were all sitting together in a group, and he just, like, you know, we're sitting down having a good time bullshitting before the class actually starts, and he just looks at us, eyeballs us, death stare. And he goes, "I have not seen you guys in a long time. Why do you not come to class?" And we don't know what to say. We're just all looking at him. We're kind of like looking away, pretending like we didn't understand what he said. And eventually someone said, "Well, you told us we didn't have to come to class. We're all doing okay in here. I mean, none of us were passing with flying colors, but, you know, it's solid B's." And he just goes, "Okay, I would like to see you in class more." Oh, speaking of that, the one kid did get caught cheating in that class. We all know who both of them were. One of them we know a little bit closer than the other, but that was a funny thing because they literally did copy and paste the same answer for each other on the homework. And he couldn't figure out who cheated off of who. They went to the dean's office. It was a whole debacle, but somehow they both got off scot-free.
Another story.
It got to the point where this one kid that we knew started making memes with this professor's face on him. And all of his glorious quotes.
Wow.
Another story with that man. In my class, there was this kid. He sat behind me. Every single time he would do some kind of visual example. And he used alcohol. Whether it was beer,
oh my god,
vodka.
And his handwriting was atrocious too. I remember this.
Yeah. But it was beer, liquor, some kind. He'd say, he buys beer. Every single time. He'd single out the one person and say, he buys a lot of alcohol. And he looked at me the one day, he's like, do I look like an alcoholic? Every single time.
That reminds me of more stories about this man. I thought we would only talk about him for a little bit this podcast, but we're 20 minutes in and we're deep into this territory, so I'm just going to keep rolling with it. At one point, he told us all, basically, I forget what he said. He's like, he told us that partying was a very important part of life and that he liked to party. And then he also told us about one time he sped away from the cops that were trying to get after him for speeding on the interstates.
Oh, man.
It's like he was, because he didn't live in like the same area we lived. Like he lived in a different state, and he would commute to our state for like a couple weeks at a time, go back for a weekend every once in a while, and then come back. So he drives from one state to the other several times a month. And one time he was doing that. He was on the interstate, flying because he wanted to get home as quickly as possible. And a statey sees him. So he pulls out, turns the lights on, trying to get up to him. Now the problem is it was some heavy traffic. So as the people are getting out of the way for the police officer, he switches lanes and gets off at the nearest exit. And apparently he outmaneuvered this copper and got off scot-free. I don't know why he told this story to a bunch of kids in college, young impressionable adults, but he was very proud of that moment when he shared it with us. I can't remember a thing about his class or anything we learned about economics in that class, man. But I can tell you about this man's life vividly.
Speaking of another teacher who would do interesting things in our class. So this man decided to bring his kids to class every day. And eventually he got into trouble because you're not supposed to bring your kids into a fucking learning environment.
How old's the child?
Like maybe 6.
Oh. So youngin'.
Yeah.
Dude, no way.
So,
because real quick, I had a professor that was actually known for teaching while holding his daughter. Like, this dude was teaching a bunch of college kids at 9 a.m. on a weekday and holding his daughter in his left hand while he wrote on the chalkboard with his right hand. The man was like the ultimate working dad. I could not believe what people were telling. I never saw it, but people told me that he did it all the time.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
So, the one time we were sitting there, and we're 2 minutes away from taking an exam, and his kids are in the front of the classroom, sitting there, I guess, playing Minecraft or something, and they started getting a little bit loud, and he looks at them, gives them a death stare, and says, "Be quiet!" Yells at them. Then he gets them, takes them outside of the classroom, I guess scolds them, and we're all sitting there like, what the hell just happened? And then he walks in, puts his head down, and goes, "I'm very, very sorry about that. It won't happen again, I promise." And then we just take the exam like nothing happened.
Wow.
Interesting.
There were times where we would be in a lab, and we would be doing things that if you didn't do it correctly, you could get very hurt. And his kids were just there, just doing shit. Playing Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever. It was a wild time. Or the other teacher. It was a math class. And we were doing a single problem for about 35 minutes. And he's sitting there writing. And all of a sudden, he's sitting there, pauses for half a second. He goes, and stands there with his hand down his pants, on his ass, with the marker on the board for a solid 60 seconds in silence. And then he just continues writing like nothing happened. And everyone's just looking around like, holy shit, did he have an aneurysm? Should we call 911?
You had a bit of an episode.
Was this...
Oh, yeah.
Was this the same professor that was in the middle of doing a problem and it got really ugly and he just stops, looks at it and goes, "Oof." And then
yeah, of course, yeah.
And then you were sitting next to a kid and goes, "This ninja just said, oof."
Yeah.
I laughed. Oh my god. When he told me that story the first time, I sat there laughing about it for 5 days straight. I could not get a grip on that. That was hilarious.
Wasn't there the one professor that told the one kid that if you don't do well on this exam, I will kill you? And then he smirked at him.
No. All right, here. Actually, I know it. All right, I was in this class. It was like a matrix. It was matrices, literally matrices, and it was like a really hard class because it wasn't supposed to be theory, but like it was like heavy theory, just because the campus we were at was like really big on theory. The professors were, and I remember I was in this class, and the kid. So there was theory, and then there was like basic computations in that class. And this kid was like, hey, are we going to need to do like such and such on the exam? And it was kind of basic, but it wasn't huge. And the kid that said that, his name was Jay. And our professor goes, Jay, if you cannot compute the basic matrices, I will literally kill you. And the 14 of us just sat there and stared at this man who just threatened to kill our classmate because he couldn't compute a basic matrix on an exam. That's the same professor that... Alright, so that same class that I was just referring to, I had to drop it because I wasn't doing great and I didn't see myself pulling my grade up. So I dropped it. And the same day that, like, I discussed it with him, I was like, yeah, I might need to drop your class. And he was like, okay, I understand. And then, we reached a point, we got our exam grades back, and I did less than sufficient to keep going with the class. And at the same time, I wasn't very well disciplined. So, like, I would hang around in the same commuter space that we've talked about a few times. And I'm sitting there, and it was like some kind of like little fun party thing that was going on in there. There were a bunch of people, and there was this marker. And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to draw a Hitler stash on my upper lip with this marker. And so I'm like,
it was on tape.
Yeah,
we put it on tape.
We can't.
There's a couple saucy things with you on tape, Dave.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
there's one specific video I really want to talk about
later.
It's getting hard not to.
We will discuss it. Don't you worry. So anyway, so I'm sitting there with a Hitler stash, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything like really offensive, but I had a Hitler stash on, and it was very evident that I had a Hitler stash on, and I like have my back turned to like the main place which like professors can walk in and out of, and his office was down the hall. And I was like talking to people, and I was just like jerking around, being an idiot, whatever. And all of a sudden I hear Austin, and I was like, uh-oh. And I turn around and look at him, forgetting that I still have a fucking Hitler stash up here. And he looks at me, he goes, I see that you have dropped my class. And I was like, yeah, I think you could tell by my last exam grade I wasn't doing so hot. He was like, yes, I see why. And then he just walked off. And I was like, uh-oh. And I go into the bathroom and I look. I thought I wiped it off, but the Hitler stash just looked even more like a Hitler stash. And I just like sat there, looked in the mirror, face palmed, rinsed it off, went back out, and everybody was just kind of like, so you dropped his class? And I was like, yeah, I did, as you can tell. And he expected me to. And yeah, so
speaking of another story within that same place, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the game Quiplash.
Oh, of course.
Ooh.
But with the right people, it gets relatively vile relatively quick.
I think we're using my laptop to play those games specifically, if I'm remembering correctly.
Probably.
I was the what's the word I'm looking for here? Distributor of video game of social video game experiences. I had my laptop and I had my Wii on me every day.
But we're sitting there. We're playing Quiplash. And there's this question that was perfect for Osama jokes, misogynist jokes, very, very bad jokes.
So some real vile shit.
Yeah, some stuff that no one should say.
That's the stuff I'm into, Dave.
And
you know
then
that.
Their answers are going by, and all of a sudden I look over, and he's just standing there, looking at it, watching us play this game. And he stands there. And then eventually he just kind of slowly turns away and walks out. And I look at everyone, I was like, just so you guys know, a professor watched that entire thing.
Yeah, it probably, in hindsight, wasn't the best idea to be doing that in a public place. Especially when some of the maybe more borderline jokes were coming out and people that would not find that funny were walking by all the time.
Not only that, but there were some like authoritative figures that were in that same building.
Oh, we're the reason why you can't be loud in that room anymore.
Yeah.
There's a sign up in that room
Yep.
that says, like, you need to calm the fuck down. And it's because of us that sign is there. So no one knows what we're talking about, but you're welcome.
We were quite the obnoxious bunch. And
In high school, fuck.
Go ahead, try it again, both of you. Say it at the same exact time. Third time's a charm.
I am pretty sure they added cameras to that room because of us.
They added cameras to that room?
I'm pretty sure. We got yelled at constantly. The amount of times someone would walk out and say, "Yo, shut up," is more than I can count on my fingers.
Yeah, we were a rowdy bunch.
Yeah,
in high school, fun fact, I had Axe body spray banned.
How'd you manage that one, Sluss Boy?
It's a dark story.
It's
a very dark story.
Did you have somebody
full of abuse?
Go ahead.
Okay. I guess I can't just leave it at that, and I have to actually explain myself here. So I went to a high school that was private, right? So it's not run the same way that a lot of public schools are. And within that small private school, there's a tradition that the freshmen get hazed when they enter the high school. Now, I was hazed. I was forced to, by my senior, who was appointed to me, dress up as Jesus, wear ankle weights, and wear a t-shirt that says "I heart bad boys." I was forced to spread the word of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ all day long, but that's unrelated to the story I'm about to tell here. So one of the ways for the freshmen to get back at the seniors is through the senior auction. When seniors are auctioned off to groups of kids and they basically own them for a day, they can haze them the fuck back. So myself and a group of other freshmen, pulled together, bought a guy who was really cheap. Like, I'm talking like $40 cheap. And this was when on History Channel, I think it was Discovery or History Channel, there was the show called Axemen on television, where it was just like a bunch of these lumberjacks walking around and whacking shit down, the way reality TV is. And so one of us had the bright idea, I'm not going to say if it was me or not, had the bright idea to dress this guy up as the Axeman, except instead of wielding a axe, we doused him in Axe body spray. We dressed him up in a plastic bag so we wouldn't get it all over his clothes, and we had a sheath hooked up to his hip that said "Spray me," like with a little sign on it, so people walking down the hallway would pick up the can and spray it all over the place in the hallway. So now the entire school reeked of eighth grader fuckboys, okay? So as you can see, there were some consequences to our actions, and Axe body spray or any aerosol deodorant was from that point forward banned within the walls of the school.
I know someone was going to a school in Florida, and they weren't a part of this, but there was a group of people who decided that it would be a very good idea for, as the senior prank, to get deer piss.
Buck bombs.
No. They got deer piss and put it all over the entirety of the auditorium's curtains.
Yo,
yeah, that shit is great. You can buy deer piss by the gallons because if you're an #outdoorsman, a sportsman, you use deer piss and the pheromones in it to attract other deers. So that's why you can buy this shit by the fucking gallons. I'm telling you. So that was genius.
#outdoorsman. I can't.
Okay, so we've gone on about some school memories for a while. How about we talk about this lovely new thing that came out, the KF console?
Oh, don't worry. I've been doing my research, okay? Because the Colonel has been going fucking bonkers over the last couple of months here.
You're talking like the video game donkey right there. I'm just saying.
Me?
Okay, now it's big boy time. We're going to talk about the KF console.
That was actually a very good impression.
I watch him too much.
Yeah. So
when it comes to him, there's no too much.
So the KF console. I have the press release pulled up here on my phone from the Colonel himself because I want to give you guys the exposure that the good Colonel, envisioned for everyone else. I don't have any other third party articles on this. I've just got the KFC press release. Now, I know we're a little late to this party. This has actually been old news. It's been around for about a month or so, but I just recently dove down this rabbit hole, and it's very, very wild. So let me just tell you what KFC Gaming has to tell you about this. So KFC Gaming have today announced the official launch of the KF console in partnership with Cooler Master. The bargain bucket-shaped machine features the world's first built-in chicken chamber, which is kitted out to keep its contents hot, ready for consumption during intense gaming sessions. The console is fitted with a unique custom-built intercooling system to extract system heat through around the outside of the chicken chamber, ensuring that the hardware is kept at a regular core temperature while simultaneously delivering a piping hot meal. The KF console campaign began on 11th of June when it went viral just hours after posting on the KFC Gaming Twitter channel, gaining 11 million organic impressions globally on the company's Twitter page. Since then, get this, KFC has won numerous awards for its initial teaser campaign, which earned global recognition across the gaming and wider mainstream communities. Now, this actually goes on for, this is a very long press release. They talk on for literally pages. Now, what this is basically a custom-built computer. It's not really a console. It's more built like a custom gaming PC. And it has a chamber at the top where you're supposed to put your Colonel Sanders chicken with the 15 flavors or the 15 herbs and spices. And it's supposed to keep that warm as you're slaying noobs on Call of Duty.
No,
but here's the kicker. This thing is spec'd the fuck out. Let me find the specs for you real quick. Like, we talk about top of the line gaming PCs. This is like a step above that. Let me see if I could find the specs for you real quick. Because
now, while you're doing that, I'm gonna express some concerns.
Yeah, sure.
You're putting chicken inside of a computer.
Yeah, no, I don't recommend that. That's a horrible idea. Let me see if Forbes has the specifications that were brought to us by KFC. So it's going to have beefy enough specs to run 4K and VR out of the box at 240 FPS. At the heart of the KFC console is an NUC9 Extreme Compute Element, which houses an Intel i9 9980HK processor. For those of you that don't know what those numbers means, that is a beefy fucking processor. The people are estimating that this bucket-shaped gaming computer console, big air quotes here, is going to cost upwards of $2,000. Let that sink in for a second.
To cook fucking chicken?
If you're buying the gaming chicken bucket, you are basically flexing.
Isn't, for computers, the standard processor i7?
Yeah, that's kind of like the middle of the road. i5 is really the middle of the road, but i7 is becoming the standard for a lot of people. If you're big balling to get an i9, but the Like the 9980HK is like the best of the best for i9s. I mean, I'm not an expert, but it's very good. There's better processors, but then we're talking like commercial grade, like supercomputer processors.
Well, maybe the kernel will do some magical shit and make it a very consumer grade console.
No, I think this is all a meme. People thought this wasn't real, and then when KFC brought us the press release with even more shit to talk about, it's no longer a meme. This is a very real thing.
Are we gonna cite that source properly, or like,
it comes from KFC's website, the press release. Like, this is an official thing,
straight from the Colonel himself.
That's why I use the press release straight from the Colonel's mouth. Whichever Colonel it is right now, it's from his mouth.
Oh my goodness!
So you think this will be a? You think this will be a player in the next gen console wars?
It might be, because I mean it's going to outperform the PS5 and the Xbox. So like people now, they're saying this jokingly, but they're saying that this is technically, objectively speaking, the best console you can fucking buy.
Well, I mean, it does have an i9 processor.
And it's brought from a fucking fast food company that sells Kentucky Fried Chicken. Speaking of the Colonel going buck wild, did you know that they're not just making a console, and they have a new product that you can buy right now on Amazon or at Walmart? And you want to know what that is? Like, if you think that KFC is making something and they're selling that isn't a gaming console, what do you think it could possibly be? Ron? I want you to take a crack at this.
If I had to take a guess.
Yeah, what's the Colonel's new product that you can buy right now?
The Colonel's new product?
Yeah.
It's got to be a dildo that sprinkles seasoning.
You're kind of close.
On your chicken.
Close. You're kind of close, but maybe not so phallic. It's a fire log.
It's
like
a what?
Fire starter. It's a fire log. You know, the thing you put into a fire pit, you light it on fire, and it starts your fire real easy.
And then it does what now?
It makes your living room smell like 15 herbs and spices.
Yo, straight up.
You can go buy one right now.
I'm leaving where I'm living right now, getting a place with a fire pit, and I'm making my house smell like herbs and spices.
I'll tell you, when I heard about this, I was this close to going out and buying one just to experience what that could possibly be like. I want, like, how close could it possibly make your living room smell to the inside of Kentucky Fried Chicken? I don't even like the smell of KFC, but I'm just that curious. Like, it's wild to me that this is the world we live in, where these big fast food brands are now branching out in the weirdest directions.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of companies who've made video games to promote their food. Like, I'm pretty sure Burger King has like 3 games.
Yeah, but those were like really bad.
I didn't say they were good.
No, but they also didn't sell them. Like, they came like with their equivalent of a Happy Meal. I'm not a Burger King aficionado myself, so I don't know what their Happy Meal equivalent is, but they were bundling that shit in, if I remember my history correctly.
You know,
I'm not
boys.
Too sure, but boy, they were awful. Ron,
I was you got me very intrigued by a lot of these KF console talk and the
By the way,
Fire
not sponsored.
Yeah, no, not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Throw us a bone, Colonel. We're doing you a big favor here.
Come on, Colonel Sanders. We're fucking promoting you. Give us the shit. Now,
to our 70 viewers.
Now,
9 subscribers.
Shout out
5 of them are me.
Y'all are great. Yeah.
You weren't supposed to say that.
Well, no, he can say that.
Not a all kept secret.
See, he can say that because nobody's actually listening to us right now, so we're good. Now, I was looking at my bank account, and being that I'm a broke ass bitch, I was like, obviously, I cannot buy this KF console or this fire log. But have y'all ever thought about selling one of your testicles?
Excuse me?
You can sell a testicle for a lot of money.
You only need one for fertility.
That's what I'm saying.
Is a ball worth more or less than a kidney? That's the big money question here, because if you put both those together and you sell them to some organ, what am I thinking of? Organ harvester in China for like one of those backstreet illegal surgeries. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
People in China, there are doctors that work in fucking alleys that will just like do surgery for you that might be deemed too risky or maybe even illegal in other countries.
I fucking love China.
People have gone to China specifically to get like heart transplants done.
We live in a world.
This is real shit. You can look it up. It's fucking nuts. Especially, actually, the backstreet surgeons are more for like weird plastic surgeries, like experimental plastic surgeries. But there are like places in China where you can go to get like very, very like meticulous, severe like surgeries done that you might not be able to get quick enough in the United States or might be deemed too risky. It's nuts. It's nuts, dude.
No, China is China.
I don't know where I learned this from, but that's been sitting in like the memory bank for a long time now. I'm surprised I put that knowledge to use. I'm so proud of myself.
You got some demons there, buddy.
I have many demons.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think that's the greatest thing that I've heard all night.
Jesus Christ. Well, we're 47 minutes into a podcast, and that's the best thing. I think we need to rework how we're doing this maybe a little bit.
You know, yeah, you're right. So, how about we talk about
Don't you
something...
dare go get some coffee creamer.
No. I'm not resorting to that just yet. Although you kind of said that, I'm a little bit tempted now. But, anywho, one thing that I did want to discuss real quick before we ended was something that the Sluss Boy showed me last time. Now, we were going to talk about our music taste, and we shut it down real quick. And I was actually very disappointed.
Yeah, my heart was broken because I told him afterwards why I specifically wanted to talk about music and the bit that I wanted to do, and it was a very sad time because they didn't realize that I was going to try to actually talk about something worthwhile. You know, maybe they were thinking, "Oh, let's talk about chain smokers, and Nickelback, the good shit." No, I wanted to dive down a deep rabbit hole that I've been in recently. Have you guys? So if I say meme rappers, what would come to your mind?
Lil Nar.
Yeah, Dave.
Ink guy.
That is actually that's a good one. That's a good one. So a couple years ago, Young Gravy started to become a little more mainstream, and I listened to that shit. I thought it was hysterical. He's talking about things that are pretty outlandish, but with like a really chill vibe. It's kind of weird, but I dug it, and I couldn't tell if he was being serious or not. So that was like my introduction. That's how I developed a taste for this. And then recently, a couple months ago, my little brother sends me this random video of this group called the MC Virgins. Now, MC stands for Minecraft, so it's a bunch of these 17-year-old kids call themselves the Minecraft Virgins, and they talk about celibacy like it's the greatest thing on earth, and they rap. But here's the kicker: it's actually fucking good. Like, let me give you a couple of their bars from like one of their more popular songs. I don't even need to look this up. I know this shit off the top of my head. So like the one guy that they have a bunch of different guys. It's like 5 or 6 guys. So they have like Young God, Young Prophet, or MC God. I don't remember the rest of them. Never mind.
They're a bunch of stupid names. Like you would never.
Like they have a song about banging their stepsister. They have a song about losing their penis. They have a song about what's simping. It's all great shit. And the bars are fucking hysterical, but like the beats are good and their flow is good and it's unironically good. Like usually if you find someone making a joke or being like a parody rapper, it's pretty bad. But just listen to a couple of these bars. They call me PROPHET. I count up all the thoughts I see. I hit up her premium snap and ask her for some pics of feet. What? She looks shorty. Asian bitches, man, they make me so horny. Put it in her booty and I'm recording. Call me a simp little bitch, I'm reporting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 traps and they got asses. And it just keeps going. Like at one point they start singing in Japanese and it's followed up by I don't even know what the fuck that means. It's really good. But on the other side of that coin, there's this guy called Young Spinach Cum Shot. Now,
No,
while the MC Virgins,
Lil Spinach cum shot.
While the MC Virgins have high quality shit but vile lyrics, first of all, Young Spinach cum shot is a 13-year-old kid. And his quality is not good. But he doubles down on the vile lyrics and this disgusting, horny shit that he's talking about as a 13-year-old kid. And it is by far some of the greatest things I've listened to that have blessed my eardrums recently. But the story gets better because before I even talk about like what his lyrics are like, he made these songs over like the course of quarantine, right? And he was posting them on YouTube. They get a fuck ton of views. He flips out, so he makes more. Like Subway Sexists, Coochie and Gucci. Like these are top tier songs. Eventually, his mom finds out that he's been making these songs. And she listens to them and she hears lyrics like, I am a registered sex offender. I stuck my dick into a blender. Your mom is a transgender. I am a professional nude sender. You know that I be dominating. My cock and balls are rotating. Like he just keeps going on with that kind of shit. So his mom hears this and he is no longer allowed to use his computer anymore.
He's living life.
He's died like one of the greats.
13, man. You know what I was doing at the age of 13? Looking like I was fucking 8 years old. I hate fucking puberty. Let me tell you that shit. That shit fucking sucked.
Wild time, dude.
Wild time is right. And
that was awkward as fuck.
And then I turned 17, and you know what I was doing at the age of 17?
Looking like a 14-year-old?
Looking like I was fucking 14, dude. Like,
Attaboy.
Oh my god.
See, it went really similar for me. I went from looking like a 10-year-old to a fucking 16-year-old. And it's just kind of stayed that way for the last, oh boy. Just 6 years. It's good.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I was looking back at like some pictures from like 2014 recently. Actually, because I was looking to try to find a picture of myself from like that long ago for like a video I'm working on. And, you know, I thought back then, you know, I was like one of the unpopular kids, like one of the awkward kids. I thought it was because I looked funny. I didn't look that bad for being like 15. It's just because I was a weird fucking kid that people didn't talk to me.
Well, that hasn't changed much.
I feel that. No, yeah.
I'm a weird fucking kid.
I think, I mean, like, we've probably progressed in some way, shape, or form. But at the same time, there's a reason why the three of us are on a Discord call at 9:30 on a Thursday night. You know?
Yeah, I gotta be up early tomorrow morning.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, Ron, you advance a little bit. You don't approach women by screaming their name across a parking lot, scaring the shit out of them.
Listen.
That's not how you're supposed to do it?
No. My experience with women was just, like, I was not good in the slightest.
I think this is probably a topic we should save for another podcast, because I'm sure between the three of us, we can go on for a couple hours on women. There's no doubt in my mind. So
it's good fun.
Probably teaser for the next episode. Mm-hmm. By the way, before we close this off, I'm turning 22 in 2 days.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Easter.
So we can consider this, you know, I'm the birthday boy today, even though it's in 2 days. It's like the birthday
you can
podcast.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And as a birthday, I want to offer a birthday gift real quick. So
Don't
now,
snort coffee creamer, please.
No. I really have to piss right now, so if you could just open your mouth and I'll just piss right down your throat, that'll be your birthday present.
Only if you also shit on my keyboard.
I'd rather just shit on your chest and then wipe it down with my ass cheeks.
Ooh, what's that called? The
Cleveland steamer, big boy.
Yeah, that's it.
A golden shower than a Cleveland steamer.
Oh, there's also the Portuguese breakfast. Have you ever heard of that one?
Oh no! Please.
You want to know about the Portuguese breakfast?
We'll end it off on that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's all right. This will be the last thing we talk about, and then the podcast is going to end abruptly after I tell this. So the Portuguese breakfast is when you crack 2 eggs, all right, and you put them inside of a woman's vagina. You proceed to have intercourse, scrambling the eggs.
Oh.
And then you cook them.
No.
And you eat it. That is the Portuguese breakfast.